This is Amy Sermon with Max Knowledge, and I'm speaking today with Vince Norton, Managing Partner of Norton Norris. Vince, welcome. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with me today.
Thank you, Amy. Happy to talk about mystery shopping. It's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, so we are going to talk a bit about mystery shopping and best practices in admissions. And Vince, this is something that you're immersed in pretty much daily. Can you tell us a bit about your background and your interest in the topic and what you guys do?
I don't think we've got time to talk about my whole background, Amy, but I can tell you that we've been doing
Maybe a
shopping
little.
since 2001. And okay, well, last year we did over 1,000 shops. This year, I don't know, it's going to be 1,500. It might even be 2,000 shops based on this latest flurry of activity. But I started in college admissions back in 1970, and been working in the field for 30 years. Been in admissions, been a school director, been a vice president of admissions. It's been a great run. It's all I've ever done. I went through the first class, the inaugural class of the ACICS management school is the Leadership Institute back in 1985. So been around a long time, seen a lot of schools, and have seen even a lot more now that we've been actively shopping.
Very good. All right, well, let's get into the questions. First one, obviously compliance is a big reason for schools to do mystery shopping, but what are some of the other reasons?
Well, not only compliance, but by shopping, you really can inspect the troops, Amy. You have a chance to see whether those processes and procedures that you've put in place and that you think are happening, whether they're actually happening across the whole system. We shop schools that have these amazing PowerPoint videos or, lobby videos, and they'll find out that nobody's using them. Or we'll shop other schools that have these nice PowerPoints that they use for demonstrations in the admissions office, and they think like all the reps are using these PowerPoints, and wrong. We'll shop other schools yet and not even get tours. So, shops are a great way not only for compliance to see those, to see if those critical compliance areas are being covered or, misused, but just to make sure that people are on the right track. Had an old boss once that said, it's not what you expect, it's what you inspect. And shopping gives you a chance to inspect the troops.
Okay, well, tell us a bit about a typical shop.
Well, a typical shop measures a number of touch points. Everything from the school response time, how fast do they respond to a web lead, what kind of greeting do you get when you walk into the admissions office, all the way through the admissions interview, and of course those critical compliance points. Are they verifying high school graduation? Are they, how are they talking about transfer of credit? How are they talking about financial aid? Are they promising financial aid? What about outcomes? Are they sharing correct graduate placement rates? Are they inflating those placement rates? Are they inflating salaries? All those kinds of things are typical things. But we also check on things like, referrals. Because if you ask 10, DOAs, are you getting referrals? Of course we're getting referrals. Everybody gets referrals. But then you go ahead and you do a shop and you discover that maybe 2 out of 10 admissions reps are actually asking for a referral. So you can measure all those kinds of things. Then you can compare it across all the schools in the system, which is another very valuable piece of information.
Very good. Well, how about best practices? Can you share a few from schools that are effectively using shopping?
Wouldn't want to share any names, but I can tell you the schools that are using shopping the right way, it's not a once and done. Schools that use shopping the right way are using it a number of times. They're measuring the information. They're sharing the information in a non-punitive manner, unless it's very egregious behavior, and then they're probably taking action and exiting some people. But the ones that use it the right way, they share the information in a non-punitive manner. They use it as a coaching tool. And then they go ahead and they implement training, because shopping highlights areas that you need to do training on. And then they'll do that training. Sometimes they'll use Norton Norris to do that training too. Little sidebar commercial. So they'll do that training and then they'll shop again to see if things have moved, if things have changed.
Sure. Tell us a bit about schools that from your perspective, are not really using shopping effectively, what that looks like or what the effect is there.
Well, I think the ones that are most guilty are the schools that shop once and say, okay, we did our shop. It's almost like somebody up in the corner office was saying, you've got to shop. And so they shop and then they don't shop again for another year. And that's just a single data point. It doesn't allow you the benefit of the longitudinal kind of study. And the other thing that schools tend to do is they overreact. They get the results and they're like, oh, this is awful. In fact, one of our shopping clients has instituted a 24-hour rule, and they don't allow any of their individuals, any of their management people, to talk with anybody else about the shop results until 24 hours have gone by, so they can kind of cool down, take a deep breath.
Sure.
So those are
Very
kind
good.
of some bad examples. People that use it as one data point and then.
So for frequency, what is actually your recommendation?
Well, frequency, I would say at a minimum, shop 4 times a year. By shopping once a quarter, you get the results. You can put some corrective action in place. Then you shop again, see if anything's happened. And over time, we've seen systems literally change the culture of their admissions department by continuous shopping, because then the reps know that the reports are coming out, and they're on their toes. They're doing the things that the management has asked them to do. Very effective that way. So at a minimum, once a quarter.
Gotcha. And do you recommend in-person, phone, a combination?
Both kinds of shopping, in person and phone, are effective. The thing about phone shopping is that you get a lot of data, and it's a pretty efficient way. We have clients that say, we really want to know what happens on the phone because, who knows what they're saying on the phone. We have other clients that say, no, it's when they go into their office and they close their door that we're really worried. But both are useful. You will collect more data on the phone, and you'll collect it more efficiently, but you won't get the drill down into the depth of the interview.
Can you tell us a little bit about a school that potentially might have budget limitations for this? What are some recommendations?
Well, first off, for those schools that are worried about budget, I can almost guarantee, in fact, I will guarantee that if you shop, you are going to discover something in the shop that will result in either an increase in revenue, a decrease in exposure. So shopping doesn't cost, it pays. Because I can guarantee you will discover something in your system that you thought was happening. You're going to improve effectiveness as a result of the shop. Secondly, if budget's limited, I would heavy up on the mix of phone shops and maybe make the face-to-face shops a little bit lighter. And finally, for the the do-it-yourselfers out there, what's wrong with when you bring a new employee on board, having them be a shopper and having them shop some of the other schools in your system or in your family that before they meet those individuals.
Good advice. Vince, I know this is something you guys are so immersed in. Like I said at the beginning, you've got a lot of experience with this. Any closing comments, anything else you'd like to chat about related to shopping?
I think the big thing is don't wait. The time to shop is now. People need to get out there. They need to inspect their troops, and then make it an ongoing thing. And when they do, I think schools and colleges will really be surprised at what kind of gains they can have across their whole system. Finally, the other thing I would say is, use that shopping to inform training. And don't think of shopping as a compliance component or an admissions component. Shopping is something that you want to do across the system and use the results socialize those results, share the results, share them correctly, and then implement training to improve any deficiencies that might occur, and then keep shopping.
Vince, very good advice. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to share your perspectives on shopping. We appreciate it. Hope you can join us again.